All right. Yeah. Well, it's a championship.
Oh,
But more importantly, it's 6 o'clock. It's Wednesday night. It's Real Unfiltered Talk. I'm James Bryan alongside the ultimate bass angler in the Midwest and across the country in the 80s and the 90s, but then failed to produce in the 2000s. Mr. Dion Hibden. Dion, good evening. How are you tonight?
well, thanks. Good to hear.
That was kind of a crappy little
That
poke,
was
wasn't
that
it?
was terrible.
Start with a bang, end with a whimper.
That's right.
That sounds like my personal life.
Yeah.
Woo!
No,
How was your week? Good?
it's been all right. Been all right.
We've all done doctor trips and everything, and we're
Sure.
like on our feet and breathing and good to go.
Back at it.
Yeah, it's all good. Man, it was a lot of stuff to talk about this week, and it's all the stuff that you don't like and our fans don't like to talk about. But first of all, I want you to know that we got a lot of comments from last week's show that I never normally don't get. Emails.
Oh yeah.
I got emails and comments on you
Because
because they all agree that the MDC sucks with stock and bass.
well, there you go.
Yeah, I was like, whoo, you open a can there, brother.
That's all right.
Yep. So yeah, they basically the consensus of our fans is, and this is our fans, not me speaking. So I don't want you going after us. That the only thing they're good for is telling you how to fish, where to fish, what to kill, when to kill, and that's about it.
That's about it.
It's like, whoo.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, we sparked some interest there. It was kind of nice. The other thing that I wanted to talk about just a little bit, and we'll get into story time here in a little bit, but I wanted to talk tonight about the business of professional fishing tournament companies. And you've got a lot of history behind it, and I'll get to that. But there were a lot of new rule changes in professional fishing again this week. I don't know if you followed any of that or not this week or not.
No, I did not.
So it'll be kind of interesting, but and I'm gonna kind of go in steps here. Okay.
Okay.
First of all, down in Gunnersville last week there was and I thought it was kind of funny. There was a big hoopla about an angler named Tucker Smith. They had a $500,000 fishing tournament down there, and Tucker Smith won. Okay, and everybody was saying online that he won not using live scope. He didn't use four-face sonar. He's a young angler and didn't use it. How about that? So I did my research. The tournament was a no live scope tournament. So yeah, he did pretty good, but nobody could. So
Yeah.
so there was this big hoopla about, see, young anglers can be diverse. And I don't think we've ever said, or anybody's even said that young anglers can't be multifaceted with their skills. But there are some that depend on it pretty heavily, and
Sure.
if you take it away, they can't. And I bet you those guys did not fish. So just saying that. So congrats on Tucker Smith winning $500,000 in Gunnersville. I think. I don't know the guy, but
I don't know him either for sure, but it's good to see that type of stuff taking place a little bit. I mean, I'm excited about that. If
Right.
nothing else, just having a few tournaments like that. And the thing of it is, I'm not knocking the young guys any more than the old guys that have taken the live scope, and stuff. It's definitely it's something you have to do to compete if it's legal, because it is a tool and it's a major tool. Do I agree with it? No, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. But and I think what I don't like about it the most is the way it has kind of divided everybody as much as anything. Forever we've been a really pretty close knit bunch. For
Right.
the most part, young, old, big, small, it didn't matter. Come fish, come one, come all, and like I say, it's kind of changed our sport a little bit, and I don't like that.
okay, so I'm going to give my 2 cents on this whole thing because it's going to get rough tonight. I think that modern day politics have gotten into our youth and bass fishing. And the reason I say that is because our country's so divided anyway
Sure.
that I think the entitled punk ass bitches feel like they are entitled to do something in our sport that maybe didn't need to be implemented in the first place.
Yeah.
So, and then they feel like we owe them something because, and that's where that division started. The technology came and they did it. And then, let's just stop there, okay? I think there are some entitled people that deserve, because that's the way they learn how to do it, they feel like they deserve the opportunity to continue to do that. And that's our political culture that we're in.
Sure.
In my opinion.
Yep.
Okay, that's one. But tonight I kind of wanted to touch just a little bit.
I have one thing to say
Fire,
on
yeah,
that.
go ahead.
I started at that age.
Because we're going down this road tonight.
I started, the first professional bass tournament I fished, I was 16 years old. And I have fished every year of my life since then. I've fished bass tournaments ever since then. And the crazy thing about it is 30 years ago, it wasn't this way. Okay? I fished against the old timers.
Not entirely.
Not entirely.
But there was technology that shifted the paradigm of bass fishing.
Absolutely. That's what did it in my eyes. It's the technology that did it. Because way back when, when I fished against Billy Westmoreland and John Powell and some of them, those guys didn't care that I fished. Right. They welcomed me to come, yeah. and if I would beat them, they were the first guys there to pat you on the back, yeah. Way to go, kid, and stuff like that.
And we'll see you next week because we're gonna whip your ass.
That's right, because we're gonna take your money.
But that was what we all grew up on.
Sure.
Bass fishing. The whole thing was, and we've heard it a million times. We'll spend $1 million to make 10,000.
That's right.
When we make 10,000, we whooped everybody's ass that one time, and it was worth $1 million to get there.
Yep.
And that's just their mentality. Anybody that gets beat, we have I talk about our 12-pound strings every month. I went and fished club tournament, only had 11 pounds, only had 12. But I keep going back because one day it's going to be like a really bad fishing day. We're going to have that 11 pounds. We're going to whip their ass. And It's like, hey, you guys make fun of me. I got a paycheck, so you all kiss my butt. And sometimes it works.
I've had a lot of time to think about all this in the last few months, not fishing and stuff like that. And, my opinion of what's taken place, I think it was the sheer shock and awe of it all. The way there it is. And when it came on the scene, it took over. And when I say it took over, there's always been those young guys out there that wanted to get started. There's always been the college kids, the high school kids. And it's getting worse now. Right. And when I say it's getting worse, worse really shouldn't be the way I should have phrased that. It's getting more intense now because it's another avenue that gives all of those youngsters a better chance at making it and making it quicker.
The ones that can afford to.
But I think that's probably where it all came from. It's just
agreed.
Just the shock and awe of all the old timers that spent 20 years learning what they've learned and 30 years learning what they know, and then all of a sudden, oh my gosh, there's 20-year-olds that are beating our ass
right
repeatedly, and so it's a hard pill to swallow, but I hope they regulate it a little bit and try to figure out a happy medium, because there's a lot of good bass fishermen out there right now. Just like this Tucker you're talking about there. Mm-hmm. I'm tickled to death he won without it, and
I said, the tournament was nobody could.
Yeah, it was nobody could use it.
Right.
So.
But you can still go out and catch fish without the technology.
Sure.
And we've said this before, on any given day, if your stuff breaks on the dash, you still pick up your rod and fling it.
That's right.
You got to.
As long as my outboard and my trolling motor works a little bit, I'm going to catch a few fish.
That's right. But this week, and I kind of, just like you, we've all had a lot of time to sit around and think, and kind of absorb some things. And, I owned a tournament trail for a few years and worked for the guy before me for 5. Traveled all over the country. I worked for the Wild West Bass Trail out in California. And to see the inner workings of an organization, I kind of want to explain to everybody how that actually works. And I'll I'll compact it all in so we all have an understanding of what we're talking about. Because I started thinking about it today, and I'm going to back up a little bit, because today MLF, or a couple days ago, MLF on the BFL series put in a new rule that's not going to allow anybody to use forward-facing sonar for no more than 3 hours consistently during a tournament day. Now, we can unpack that whole thing, let's just pause that for a minute, okay? Just put that over the side, because we can talk about how that's never going to work and how it's because there's so many gray areas and co-anglers and this whole thing. But let's just put that aside for a second. I thought, now why did MLF do that? And then I had to rewind and think about when I owned a tournament organization, when forward facing sonar came out and killed the crappie industry. Here's what happened. First of all, you have to ask yourself, how does a tournament organization make its living? You know, how does it pay for itself? And the first thing is payback. That's what we always look at. It's what every bass angler looks at. Is it 80%, 70%, 90%, 100% payback? Is there a $10,000 guarantee? Or are they giving away a boat? That's what promotes a guy to go fish. And it has since 1971 to 2025. Agreed?
You fish for your own money.
You fish for money. Yep. And if you don't get back what you pay in, guys don't continue to fish. So the 80% payback was kind of the standard in the industry for a really long time, because 20% of the take on a 200 boat field could pay for the guys driving to the lake, getting their gas paid, setting up the scales, paying employees, paying the guy to call the weights, paying the girls to do the weigh-in tickets, and distribute checks. That was a healthy balance, and they never made a lot of money. It just covered the bases so you could have the sport. So I would say, when the sponsors get really heavy, 85, 84, somewhere in that ballpark, when they really started stepping up and paying in.
Probably even later than that.
Let's say mid to late 80s.
Big money.
So money started coming into the industry. Payouts got better because now we have money to operate on. We're going to endorse these products. Fishermen are going to endorse these products. And everybody got more money. So the payout went to 90%. And in a lot of cases, 100%. Sometimes it was 100% plus a boat, or plus a pair of ATVs, or plus 10 shotguns, whatever.
Yeah.
And a lot of that stuff was sponsor driven as well. But you got all your money in and you got it, and times were good. Okay? Everybody's with us so far. Then television came out. Now you got to pay for TV, production cost, cameramen, camera boats, operators, and that expense went way up. But the money kept coming in. So it's all still good. We're still making 90% of our income. Now we're on TV and we're getting exposure for our sponsors. This is a good deal. Everybody's winning again. Next thing you know, you see Dion in the 90s on television. He's got a big Chevrolet shirt on. He's driving a Chevrolet truck. His boat says Chevrolet on it. And Chevrolet is back in the trail. And times are good. Right? So why did MLF regulate live scope to 3 hours a day? Well, let me tell you why. Because I've seen it on social media all week long. Nobody's watching TV anymore. So sponsors pay money based on viewership. So the average fishing show is between 6 and 10 million viewers. And let me back up, because I've seen this on the back side of it. Ratings are a lie, because ratings are bought. You buy your airtime for the best spot. And if you have the best spot, you get the best ratings. So you'll never be number one unless you spend the money for the number one time slot. And you get that, you get the viewership. So BSS always was above the rest of them because they had the time slot and the good spot and locked it in. Cross channels. Airtime was cheap, but those time slots were a lot of money. Well, the internet came along and people started having a broader view of things. So you had to have a good TV show. And bass fishermen, they want to learn. And when I mean they want to learn, we all got our education by reading about Dion while we were pooping, because we got our magazine and everybody read when they went to the bathroom.
Yep.
They did. Every bass guy wanted to get their subscription to the magazine, because when they went to sit down to go take a bathroom break, they read about it, about new products and new lures and new tackle and techniques and all these things. It was awesome. Not disagreeing so far.
Nope, I agree.
So fast forward to COVID. COVID, mixed with live scope, brought a whole new area and a new era of viewership on the internet. Now you can get your information on YouTube, you can get it on TikTok, you can get it on Facebook, you can get it. Every angler out here, Ron Sisk, longtime viewer, can get on with a smartphone and go out and catch crappie and make a show, stick it on YouTube just like we're doing.
Yep.
He's got some kind of technique, and he has what's called, in today's industry, content. It's all about the content. It's not about the viewership. It's about the content. I'm a content creator. I'm a I'm an influencer. I have content. I'm going to influence people to buy products. That's what we do. You know what that did to bass fishing? It made the viewership disappear. And they all said it was live scope that did it. Not really. What it was there was no content for people to use live scope. They didn't learn anything. And people got disenchanted watching it. So they went to YouTube and they watch the Crappie Connection, or they watch 10 Horse Money, they watch Real Unfiltered Talk, they watch any fishing show that's out there, because occasionally we talk about tech and tackle and they learn. And all they do is just Google search it and they can pull it up and watch it. The bass industry missed it by a mile. And now they're going, holy crap, nobody's watching TV anymore. Our streaming sucks. We don't have good content. What do? Well, we're going to force the content back by taking live scope away. It's too late.
Yeah.
I think it's dead. And I don't mean the sport of bass fishing. I think recreational tournaments and small regional stuff is going to be great, but I think the days of professional bass fishing have officially began its death. And the good days that you saw are the best days, and it's never going to be like it was again. Because I saw when the BFL rules came out for the 3-hour live scope, I saw post after post of people going, screw it, I'm not going to fish it. I'm going to focus on creating my own content now. They don't care about the money.
Yeah.
They want the viewership so they can promote their products themselves. So I think that's where the real issue lies, not with live scope at all. It's the fact that we all want to watch it, and you said it, you want to see the big fish being held up and the big show at the end and the fireworks and the fanfare and all these great things, and none of it exists anymore.
I agree with you on all that.
That's my 10-minute soapbox.
And I agree with you on all that. I think the whole industry, it's not just live scope. Okay, there's a whole array of different things that has led to what we are involved in right this minute. My dad said 20 years ago, when a handful of snot-nosed brats got put on the advisory board with him and started bitching about co-anglers.
Mm-hmm.
My dad said 20 years ago, he said, you take those co-anglers out, he said, who's going to buy the fishing tackle?
Mm-hmm.
Look at what's happening right this minute.
Right.
Right this minute. Now you take BFL here, whatever it is, 20 years later, BFL is going to change their rules to only 3 hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
Does anybody have a clue why that is? That is because these co-anglers do not want to fish and watch somebody stare at their tennis shoes all day long. They would rather run down a bank and have somebody parallel the bank in front of them with a crankbait or a topwater, with them having zero chance of catching one, than sit out there in the middle and that guy be the only one. When you're live scoping, pay attention to everybody else in the boat. There's nobody else catches them. Only the guy running the live scope. Okay? These co-anglers do not want to be a part of that. The big part still, the most money-making part of MLF is the BFL tournaments. That's it. They still make more money than any of the rest of them. And it
pays out the less and has the most guys that show up.
And it has the most guys show up. There's more entrants get into the BFLs than all the rest of the tournament organizations combined.
Mm-hmm.
And it happens every weekend.
Because it's a grassroots program.
So it is a steady income of money.
Mm-hmm.
The northern division in BFLs that fishes Lake Erie, they can't get anybody to fish them anymore as a co-angler. Okay? And it's because 90% of those fish get caught live scoping. Those guys feel like they have no chance of catching one, so they're not going to put their money into that tournament. And it's finally coming to bite them in the ass, right. These tournament organizations. And guess what? Those pros don't buy fishing tackle. They don't. But you give me 8 hours in the boat with a guy sitting behind me, I can sell him my freaking underwear before the day's out, because it's just freaking better. He sees it happen. He sees it work. He gets to experience the fact that my reels cast better, my line works better, my baits work better, and it doesn't matter if you catch them or not. You give me 8 hours, I'm going to sell that guy some stuff.
True.
We sell the fishing tackle,
Now,
and those guys buy the fishing tackle, and we are trying to eliminate those guys completely out of our industry. And when you do that, who's buying the fishing tackle?
well, I think they're trying to make the fix now, but I think it's too late.
Yeah, I
But
do too. I think
on a bigger question though, I've talked to a lot of co-anglers out there that fished over the years, and there are some really super pros that talk to you, tell you where to cast, give you some direction, and then there's some other ones that hang a guy out, but they learn. But I'm betting today that you're one of those guys. There's a lot of pros out there. At the end of the day, they bite off their jig and like, here, buddy, take that and go. And I'll bet you're one of those guys that went, no.
I don't mind. I don't mind
never
sharing.
shared nothing,
I don't
did you?
mind sharing, and I share when when it comes the right time to do so.
But
Okay?
I'm right?
When sometimes, yeah, sometimes you're right. If I go out there and I'm only going to get 5 bites a day, I'm damn sure not going to give the bait up that I know will get those 5 bites. I'm not going to share with the guy in the back of the boat when I know,
What about on
if
day
we're
2?
only getting 5 and I'm only going to get 2 of them myself, and he's going to lucky.
What about when the tournament's over and the last day?
Oh, I
It's like,
share.
share then?
I share baits with my stuff, with my
I'm
partners.
just checking.
If I got, just because I didn't use, I just want to prove a point to you. I mean, I just want.
I mean, you use 2 jigs all day.
And you had one of them from the minute we left the boat ramp.
That's right.
Yeah, and I've heard of guys that did that, but
Yeah.
But me and my dad, we were always pretty good about
It was.
taking care of people.
I thought it was always funny because I know a lot of guys that are very accomplished fishermen who, when they get into a BFL or an Everstart or even a bigger tournament, they'll sign up as a co-angler hoping that they'll learn something. I mean, that was the whole concept of it. It's like, hey, I'm going to go sign up as a co just because I hope I draw somebody. And, our buddy Kevin, he drew a guy who manufactured jigs. He has a jig company. A very well-known company. They're out of business now, and I don't remember what the name was. I'm not gonna run the guy on the bus. It was a jig,
Sure,
but
yeah.
it was a good popular jig company, and they caught fish all day. And when it was done, Kevin's like, "Man," he said, "that was pretty cool." He said, "What kind of jig was it?" And the guy said, "Yeah, you can buy them online." Never gave him a jig. He's like, "No, you can buy them." And it's kind of funny because you can do promotional as a business. You can give stuff away and promote them to use it. But I'm glad it happened to Kevin. Because he can pay for anything, but he wanted that one free jig and he got cut off, which made the story even better. Because if anybody deserved to get hung by a guy, it was Kevin. So
it's crazy.
Because he's a tight ass and he's got money.
And when I say the little batch of young snot-nosed kids that were on the advisory board back when my dad was, and they started bitching and moaning.
Yeah, who were those? Kevin Van Dam?
No, never him. Never him.
No, I'm trying to, who today would be a snot-nosed brat back then, but that's okay. Just curious.
Oh, well, I can tell you a few of them. Oh, I don't mind. Luke Clausen was the leader.
Okay.
He always said that, he said, you don't get guys to, you don't have a guy putts on the green. I forget how he said it. You don't let Tiger Woods hit it up on the green and then a complete amateur put it in.
Put it out.
Yeah, and put it out. That was probably more proper.
Whatever. Yeah.
But I'm not just throwing Luke totally under the bus because
I was never a Kobe Krieger fan. He was your buddy.
I can't say that I knew Kobe to do it. One of the other one was the guy from Pennsylvania. He just bitched and moaned and complained about them co-anglers. Well, what if you're throwing a topwater down the bank and one blows up on you and your partner throws in there and catches it? Well, if you let him do that, that's your fault.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as one does that to me, I'm like, hey, I'm going to make another cast at that. But anyways, yeah, it is. It's a delicate mix. How you have to be with co-anglers and do I like them? Yeah, I don't. They don't bother me. If I let one get by the front of my boat, he deserves it. Simple as that. Because I'm not much of a pro if I didn't catch it in front of him.
Got
Let's get off of that. God dang.
I got somebody posted online said Dion to the NPFL in 2026. Jump back in the game.
If my health was a little bit better, I might. And when I say that, I like the idea of doing it. But right now, the way the whole world, as far as bass fishing is going, is so screwed up right now. And I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it on my own money. That's just the way you can't do it on your own money. You have to have sponsors. And
I don't know if there's sponsors out there anymore.
I don't either. That's the thing.
And I'm not saying just for you. I mean, just for
anybody
coming into the game. If you're not already in the game, I mean, shoot. I saw an article. Did we talk? I think we talked about it. We may or may not have talked about it, but the BSS elites. I talk about the FLW or MLF, but BSS on the other side, the elites. They have now qualified anglers to fish the elites. So if you haven't been proven over the last few years, you can't even get in.
Yeah.
And I saw an article, I think today or yesterday, like Mark Menendez has been fishing for what, 30 years?
Yep.
And he's in risk of, if he doesn't qualify through, he can't fish.
Oh,
I don't understand that. And I'm going to share everybody a story. In 2000, whenever I started to wanted to fish, I called your mom. And she said, "I'm going to tell you how to do it." And this is how it used to be. At 6:00 in the morning, you got up and you called Arkansas to Operation Bass, and you dialed in on your phone. And if it was busy, you called again until you got a ringtone. And when you got a ringtone, you got in and you put in your application to participate in the tournament. And when there were 200, it was done. And the rest of them got on a waiting list. And she said, the call started at 8 a.m. Central Time. You start calling at 6, and when you get it to ring, you leave that son of a bitch ringing because you're going to get in whenever they open. You're one of the first ones to get into the line. And that's what you did. That's how you got into the field. This whole qualification thing and all this other stuff, if you want to talk about fairness, get your ass up early, call in, and get in. If you're a previous champion and you get a slot, so be it. But this whole thing about in the last 2 or 3 years, if you were a qualified angler, well, hell, we all have bad years. But if you're if you've got financial backing, or if you're a trust fund baby or whatever reason, and you're able to fish, and I'm gonna pick on you for a minute. You've been out of the game for a few years.
Yeah.
You get a wad of money, and somebody says, "Hey, Dion, here's $250,000. I want you to fish the elites." They won't let you in. Because you haven't qualified and you haven't been there. A previous Bassmasters Classic champion, by their standard, won't let you in. So why did they go to 3 hours? Because they don't know what the hell they're doing. They have completely missed the mark, and they've lost viewership, co-anglers, memberships, content, and they don't know what to do.
I think it's
and it's kind of scary.
I think it's a combo of 4 or 5 different things.
I'm glad it's not our military.
Yeah. I think it's a combo of several different things, and I really hate it, but I think it's going to have to fail miserably before it comes back.
The implosion.
I think it's just going to have to completely stop.
Right.
Before it gets better, and I don't know what that's going to look like.
But but we've seen it kinda. You saw, and maybe you can shed a little more light on the story of it all, but I'm trying to think, what year did Operation Bass start? When you guys made the choice to leave BSS and go to a brand new company? Was that it was in the 90s, wasn't it? Late 90s?
Yeah, FLW was in the 90s.
That was Irwin Jacobs, right?
Yes.
Irwin Jacobs, with a ton of money, right, decides we're going to make a run against the only bass industry in the world. And they start FLW, the Forrestal Wood Cup.
I didn't just leave bass, and Dad didn't either. We stayed in it for a long time and fished both, But it finally got to where our sponsors, the sponsors that we had aligned ourselves with, were more aligned with FLW than they were BASS. Well, don't bite the hand that feeds you.
Right.
And that's why we ended up going strictly with FLW.
and thank you for clarifying that. I wasn't trying to say that you left, but I mean, eventually you did.
Yeah, sure.
But today you can't even do that. You can't fish two. They wouldn't allow it. You know, um, but back in that day, that was the start of where we. And I'm not blaming Erwin Jacobs, which he's gone now anyway. But I'm not blaming FLW. But that's when the industry needed to grow. There needed to be some choices, and it's morphed into this mess. You know, and it wasn't always that way.
But we can't blame it on that. Because if
it's a factor, though, right?
It is a factor. It's just another one of those things.
What if FLW never was created?
Then we'd still be fishing for $15,000 with BASS, and fishing for our entry fees.
Right.
There would be.
It's just a question.
For ever so long, keep that in mind.
Because
for ever so long, those big sponsors that they started getting, they took those from bass fishermen.
Right.
One of my dad's two or three of my dad's biggest sponsors got taken from him by BASS, and they ended up dropping him and their fishermen just to sponsor BASS.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Now, did those companies flourish because of it? Maybe a little bit, but they should have kept in mind, hey, this guy built this deal.
Yep.
He helped build this thing, and so I can't blame BASS, but I can a little bit, because forever we've always fished for our own money.
Right.
And those big money sponsors that they got, they put that in their damn pocket.
And welcome to the cutthroat business of bass fishing.
That's right. That's right.
There it is.
When you go to talking 100% payback, 100% of what?
Yeah.
It's 100% of our entry fees.
Your money.
Yeah.
Yep.
People bitch and moan about, they raise entry fees. Well, the payout's going to be better. Well, it's because it's your damn money. Why don't everybody go out and fish for $50?
But see,
same concept.
And that's where I get into, like, where we're at in the industry now. See, and just as an example, the BFL, if you do the math on a 200 boat field, they pay like first place like $4,500 on a $300 entry, which is only about 63%.
It's terrible.
It's low, which means they're pocketing a ton of money.
Yep.
But for them to change the rules now because of LiveScope, I'm telling you, it's not because of LiveScope.
No.
It's because the tourism industry has backed off their marketing money, because we as bass fishermen, our job, if you're a professional bass angler, your job when you go on the road, and I remember, gosh dang, I wish I could remember his name, tournament director, did the Everstars forever. Super good guy, Jerry Stakely.
Yep.
He would always say, it's like, why are we going to this shithole lake to fish? We would go to the worst lakes ever. They would send you, like, why fish the Red River? I mean, it's horrible. It's terrible. Well, the reason is because the Tourism Commission wants people to come and visit there, and it's a great place to catch fish. So they push a check across to the FLW and say, we want you guys to come here. Here's $80,000 for your TV show. You can cover your expenses. Have your guys come here and highlight our lake. So Stakey would always say, we'd be like, this lake is awful, it's terrible. He said, your job as a professional is to catch fish. Our job is to promote our tournament trail. That's how this works.
Yep.
That's why you said earlier, the northern lakes that are like directly driven for live scope fishing, it's not because they go there because it's good for live scope. It's because they're getting paid a lot of money to go there. Now, you can fix the whole live scope problem by coming places like here at Lake of the Ozarks. It has great spots for live scope and places that aren't so good. And if the bite's not there, live scope doesn't work. But if you go to a smallmouth fishery, it's designed for that.
Yep.
And if the tourism departments and the powers that be and the sponsors say, we want you to go to Champlain, we want you to go to Detroit River, we want you to go to the Great Lakes, they're going to go. And they're going to have to eat crap at the end of it because it's not going to work in their benefit. They're going to make money this year. But I think that's something that the tournament industry is going to have to look at a little more in detail, to find bodies of water that, A, you can get tourism money, you can highlight a lake, showcase your pros, but have it be a balanced lake where all techniques can be used at the same time. Is there lakes out there like that? I believe so. Don't you?
Absolutely.
River systems, Alabama River. I mean, they used to have BSS in the Alabama River. They never go there anymore.
But look at what's happening right here on Lake of the Ozarks.
Yeah.
Our board of tourism is going to put forth no more money.
It's gone.
It's gone.
We don't have one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
But
is that part of the implosion that we're seeing?
No, that was fraud.
Yeah,
That was
yeah,
a whole different
but
deal.
still, it wasn't even on their mind. Like when they were having this meeting, saying, "Okay, our board of tourism is going to go away." Well, it was never on their mind. Well, what are we going to do about tournament fishing? No, that never came up because
Right.
nobody gives a crap about it.
Right.
You know, when it comes to that.
No, what they want, and see, we got to back up just really quick. When bass fishermen come to your town and they have a tournament, and the tourism division pays for people to come for you to come there, their goal is not to have more bass fishermen come. They could give a crap less about the bass tournament at all. They want the family of 4
Yep.
to come down because the water's clean and clear and beautiful, and you can catch fish. These guys showcase the trophy fish, but you can catch bluegill, sunfish. It's a great destination. Our hotels, the people are super friendly.
Yeah.
How many times have you watched an angler up on stage go up, there's only one thing I like more than this beautiful fishery. These wonderful people down here at the beautiful place at Kentucky Lake down here in Paris, Tennessee.
Yeah.
They're an awesome group of people, and I highly recommend you come and visit anytime you can. Have you guys ever heard that before? I've said it a million times. Let me tell you what, folks. Welcome to Sam Rayburn Lake. The grass fishery is incredible, but let me tell you what. There's places to shop. There's wonderful tourism.
Yep.
You can bring your family down. The barbecue is amazing. You should check it out. And you hear that on every TV show there ever is. You know why? They're contractually obligated to do so to people to come in over the next 10 years, because once it goes on the air on the internet, it's there forever.
Yeah.
And they talk about how great it is. I love the story of Kentucky Lake. When you fished Kentucky Lake a million times.
Yep.
I fished it plenty myself, and we talked about it's excellent, and it is. It's a great place to go if you want to catch trophy panfish, smallmouth, largemouth. I mean, it's an awesome fishery. It's on the TVA. It's got locking dams. It's dangerous. It's got all the feels of the Lake of the Ozark, but you can go to the other side and you can find buckbrush. You can find you can go around to the Lake Barkley side and you can find nasty, twisty, dirty ass wood, and it's a whole healthy balance. But they had pollution, they had fish kills, they had everything in the world, and it just went away for 5-6 years.
A few years, yeah.
And then all of a sudden, tournaments start going back because tournament commission said we got to fix this. They had the Asian carp too.
Yep.
A huge Asian carp, and that went all the way to Washington D.C. That was gosh, whoever the Kentucky senator was, Mitch McConnell, he appropriated hundreds of millions of dollars for the eradication because tourism depended on it on the LBL lakes. Got that taken care of. All of a sudden, bass tournaments started going back because they were paying a ton of money. And you know what they all said? This lake is amazing. It's on the rebound. It's healthy. You guys got to come back. You got to check this out. The people here are amazing. And guess what? Tourism's booming again.
Yep.
And we'll see that in Lake of the Ozarks as well. We just have to get our politics lined out.
It's a lake too where.
But that's how tournament fishing works. You got it. The fishing part, that's one aspect. Every angler, they're required. I mean, really, that's what pre-tournament. Just if you've never fished a bass tournament before, let's lay it down. Okay. You sign up. You did your phone call in. You got in. You're in. Cool. Got a spot. Great. You pay for all your tournaments up front. You guarantee your spot. Got it. Get your boat prep. Get your shit geared. You reserve your hotel rooms. You do your research. You go pre-fish. You spend your money, and that's a lot of money. Am I missing anything? I'm talking pretty quick.
Nope.
Make sure your truck and your boat's under warranty. Good tip, by the way, because if you get on the road and your crap breaks down, if it's newer, you're better off because you can get it fixed for free. If you got old crap, it's going to cost you a ton of money because it happens.
Yep.
You're always going to break. As a wise man told me once, breaking is part of the sport. Correct?
It happens.
Every time. Also, you said make locking a part of your day. So if you guys got to lock across three different locks to get to a spot, just make it part of your day. That's part of the sport. So you get all that stuff accomplished. I don't even know where I was going with the story. How tournaments work. You go to your very first pre-tournament meeting. You have your membership card, and you're pretty excited. And you go in, and they scan your card or punch in your number or give me your name. I see you're fishing as a pro. Sign the waiver here in case you kill anybody. We're not liable. First thing you do, sign off. All right, I'm good. Right?
Right.
Go into this giant room with 400 other anglers just like you, and they're all faunching at the bit because they've done the same thing. They have spent a ton of their own money to make the opportunity to go and whoop their asses. And now it's big time. Now we're going to whip big time ass. Look at there. There's Dion Hibden. There's Guido Hibden. There's this guy. There's this guy. There's Blockett. And my goal is to whip all their asses, and I'm going to make myself a name for myself. That happens 100 times out of the 200 that are there. 100 of them are there all the time. There's always another 100 that shows up every other time because they fall off because they run out of money. 25%, you never see them after 2 tournaments because they're going to go make their dream, and then they get their dreams shattered because Dion whooped their ass and they didn't have enough money to come back next month, so they're out. So you go to the tournament meeting, and everybody gets signed in. The co-anglers are there. You're going to do a big pairing, and they say, welcome to Lake of the Ozarks. We're really glad to be here. We're going to go over our sponsors. Here's who they are. And they list off the sponsors. Now, guys, make sure when you go up on stage, there's a few things we want to make sure that you're very clear about. I don't know if you've heard that, but they've done it before. Make sure you thank the Lake Ozark Convention and Visitors Bureau. If you go up on stage, you do that because they paid our bills, and we really want you to do that. Don't say anything stupid. Don't say anything about the sewer that's running out up the river and there's a big pollution issue. Let's just keep that off the radar, okay, guys? So we should make it off limits, but we're not. Now, and there's no pollution like the Ozarks. It's just an example. But there's always stuff that they want you to avoid and not talk about when you're on stage. And they typically remind you about it before you walk up onto the stage. Listen, hey, Dion, I know you got in a fight with this guy out on the water. Don't make an ass of yourself when you walk up on stage to weigh, because we won't let you fish again. You ever heard that before?
Sure.
We've all heard it.
Yep.
So when you get an angler that walks on stage and weighs his fish and he says, I want to thank the Lake of the Ozarks for everything done. These people are great. They've been quasi-hired to do so because they know that their opportunity to fish the next lake is limited because if you show your ass, you're out. And now we're in this whole new
one small paragraph or one small line at the bottom of your entry form. Right to refusal.
Yes. Yeah. Right to refusal.
Right to refusal.
Yep. You know, we have the right to air you and to edit you.
We can refuse your entrance.
Yep. For any reason, for any cause. You know.
Yep.
Because occasionally what happens is you'll go to a lake that's horrifically bad. And there's been I'm trying to think, what's the lake down in Hot Springs? Is it Lanier? Hamilton. I think there was a classic on there, but that lake it's a pretty bad lake. I mean, it can be good, but it's not the best in the world. And there's been times where guys can't put a limit together. The best pros in the world can't put a limit together there. But what you don't do is walk up on the stage and say, this place is a gar hole, and I hope I never come back. That pretty much punches your ticket to never come back, because the powers that be that process your application, even though you call at 8 o'clock in the morning and get in, you're not going to get in.
You're on a special list.
You're on the special list. Some of us call it the black list. Some of us call it the bass list. But you're on the list. And I think, have you ever showed your ass to get on that list?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, hundreds of times.
So, there you go.
Absolutely. I've been on the list since day one, I think.
Yeah.
You know.
So I mean,
but not for that reason, but
yeah, but I mean, but not for showing your ass, but speaking your mind. Even if you're right, the powers that be.
That's right. They don't have to listen.
If they don't agree, they don't let you in.
Yep.
So I think this whole new qualification thing really isn't a qualification thing. I think they're going to choose their anglers to make their show and their content the best they can be, is what it is. And it's going to fail horribly, because I think, and I'm not about fair. I believe in, I don't believe in participation trophies, and I believe there are winners and losers, and losing makes you stronger, makes you want to compete harder. That's in the bass fishing world. And fair is get your ass up and get on the phone, and if you don't get in, you get on the list and hope you do. But this whole, we're going to pick and choose who's going to fish, and we're going to regulate you to 3 hours a day using technology that works for some and not others, is a recipe for 100% disaster.
my dad, my dad's gone and has been for a few years. And the advisory board that I told you about just a while ago is the reason that my dad quit fishing BASS, hands down.
Can I just really quick? Can I back up?
And the two reasons is the first one was getting rid of the co-anglers and a handful of guys. The advisory board was like 11 guys, and they voted on stuff. And when those guys were so staunch on getting rid of the co-anglers, he didn't like that. And the other one was Shinichi Fukai. Shinichi Fukai at that point in time was freshly over here from Japan, and he would go from one tournament to the next. He had no home. He lived in a van. Him and his wife, Miyu, lived in a van. And they traveled from one place to the other and practiced and fished every waking minute of their 365 days a year. He was on the water what time he wasn't driving to a new lake to fish. And those guys complained and bitched and moaned about him until they changed the frickin' rules because he was getting too much practice. And my dad says, and you're going to change the rules because you people are lazy? He says, is that what I'm hearing? You people are too lazy to go do what he does? You want to beat him? Go work as hard as he does. And the very next season, my dad quit for that very damn reason.
So just to back up, so in case people don't understand at all what we're talking about, tournament organizations, and they all did it, every crappie, bass, walleye, striper, redfish, all of them, they start a tournament company and they make these decisions and they're wrong. And all of a sudden their attendance drops. And they're like, holy crap, what do we do? So they decided.
And then they back up and ask the fisherman, hey,
yeah,
can you help us?
Yeah,
tell us what we're doing wrong.
What did we do wrong? So they decided, well, here's what we'll do. We're going to handpick our own. And that's the other issue. We're going to handpick our own anglers to speak to the other anglers and kind of be the liaison between us. So it's called the Angler Advisory Board. So what I would do is I would say, well, you know what? These people align with my thoughts. I'm going to take Rod and Ron and Amy and Kurt, and they're all going to come in and they're going to be my Angler Advisory Board because they like what I'm doing. And so they're going to send the message to the other anglers. This is the way it works. Occasionally get one in the mix that doesn't like it and they're going to speak up. Sometimes they get 10 or 15 that are totally wrong. But I think in what you talked about, like snot-nosed kids, I think tournament organizations say, well, let's mix this up and let's make it grow. Let's bring in all this new generation of anglers in to advise us on how to make it better. And they disregard all the people that pay the bills and they go down the wrong road. And we see it every year worse and worse and worse. Yep. You know, the last time I went to ICAST, you would go in, and ICAST is like the biggest tackle show in the country, but it's not really where you go buy tackle. It's where you go buy advertising, and you sell marketing plans, and you build a TV show. And it's where the pro anglers go, and they meet with their sponsors, and they renew their contracts for the year. And then they announce this brand new tackle for 2026. And they got their sponsors that are there, and their anglers, and that's media day. Now, the Japanese, the Chinese, they all show up there and they do their giant corporate buys there. But North American companies, that's not where you buy. The last time we went to ICAST and we went in with an advertising plan, and I would love to go back as Real Unfiltered Talk and go to ICAST and sell advertising. I think it'd be great. You know, and get these sponsors, and we'll have this new whole deal where we don't do shameless plugs anymore. It's like, no, this Real Unfiltered Talk is brought to you by Pure Fishing and, you know, Huck Clothing, Ranger Bass Boats. You know, right at the beginning, we'll do this whole big video and we'll play commercials and we'll do all this stuff. But when you go now, and I'm getting old, we're getting old, and we're not old. We're both in our 50s.
Yep.
You're not 60 yet.
Nope.
We're both in our 50s, which is not old. But you go to an ICAST, and the marketing executives are like 23 and they're 24, and they're not fishermen. They're Instagram influencers.
Yep.
And when you stand up there and you're just like, hey, I want to do this podcast and we've got 1,000 views, and they're like, yeah, come back and talk to me when you have 100,000.
Yeah.
And if you don't have 10,000 followers, we don't have anything to talk about. They don't even ask to see if your content's good or if it has the ability to grow. You have to have an established content to get a sponsor now. So with that being said, again, I keep going back to, why did MLF cut their live scope to 3 hours? Because they need content. They can't sell them. They can't sell marketing without content. And if they don't have catch footage, if they don't have people talking about sponsors and merchandise and these things that the industry was built on, they're screwed.
5 years ago, no, it wasn't 5 years ago, 3 to 5 years ago,
which is 10 years ago.
Ranger Boats took a business change that I wasn't going to be a part of. And after being with them for 33 years, I decided, okay, I can't do this anymore. I'm going to change. Not knocking them. Good company. Glad for every minute I spent with them. But when I went to looking for another boat company, I talked to people that I personally knew, friends of mine, 2 or 3 of them that owned boat companies. And they would put me in touch with a person in their group to screen me, and they wanted to know what my media following was first and foremost.
Yep.
Not that I was a 2-time fucking world champ. No, that had nothing to do with it.
Yep.
Or that I'd been fishing ever since I could hold a fishing rod.
Yep.
They wanted to know what my, what's it called? Is it media?
Analytics.
What? My social media presence was.
Your analytics.
And as soon as they did that, and like I say, one of them, I've been in the boat with. I fished with that man. And he put me in touch with a little gal that told me, well, we're looking for something a little bit heavier. Are you going to get more into it? And I said, no, I doubt it. No, I doubt very seriously that my social media is going to rise overnight just so I can get in with a boat deal with you. And the crazy thing about it was, there was another one that did the same thing. And these are people that I've known my whole career. I mean, Rick Pierce, I grew up around Rick and Ron Pierce. Same deal. Needless to say, I called Earl Bentz, and Earl Bentz says, oh, we ain't worried about that. And that's who I went with.
Yeah.
And you know, and I'm not saying that, but it's all, I can tell you right now, my dad said it many, many years ago that, you know, YouTube and all this stuff is very important to our sport, but he said also in the end it's probably going to kill our sport.
So that was the concept of tonight's show.
And I think it's truly,
we're in a really weird spot.
Yeah.
And I think that everything I've tried to explain, I think maybe has a better understanding. It's really not live scope. In my opinion, yes, live scope has changed things, but it's the people that's behind it, how they promote it, how you push the sport. It's not jiving with the sport.
Did MLF get it pulled off that there was no more magazine?
Oh, I don't know.
Strictly going to be social
digital?
media?
Yeah.
Strictly digital?
I don't know.
That I thought, man, if you people do that, that's the dumbest thing ever. Yeah.
All right. So we went way off on the reservation here. So a couple things real quick, because we got to give some content, because that's what social media does, right? Got to have some content. It's been really unusually warm here at Lake of the Ozarks.
Yeah.
We're still kind of in a summer pattern, really.
Absolutely.
So in a nutshell, guys, if you're out fishing Lake of the Ozarks this weekend, there's no current, there's no rain, there's hardly any wind. It's sunny, and it's in the 80s. Next week, it's going to drop into the 70s. It's not going to affect the surface temperature, very little, which means you're going to have to still stick with, I've had guys come into our store still looking for power worms.
Absolutely.
And that's not a bad decision.
There was, I heard as many, now that the Big Bass Bash has been over for a little while, I've heard as many guys talk about catching them 10, 12 foot deep.
Yep. Still in a jig, still in a worm.
Yep.
Some top water, not a lot, but we're not in October chatterbait, spinnerbait fishing like we'd hope to be. We're
Not
still
yet.
follow the summer pattern. So, and I'm sure these conditions are the same in the 7 or 8 states surrounding us.
It's just
So-
everything's extremely warm and the water temperature's still warm, and so
Yeah.
don't put away your summertime stuff just yet.
Right. So I had to talk a little bit of fishing, get off that whole politics thing.
That's
Start
right.
a little fishing. So Jim, you got something to go for this weekend now. You already knew that though, because you've been fishing all week. Not yet, he says, but he will. So yeah, don't pre-fish on Friday for a Saturday tournament. I firmly believe that. You do.
Me?
Yeah.
Absolutely. I just don't jerk.
Don't jerk. So, and that means you can slowly lift them up, take a look, or they'll let go.
The lures I throw, I don't have to worry about that much.
It's jig. You don't throw
Yeah,
lures.
most of the time, yeah.
I've never seen you throw a crankbait. Take it back. I do have one of your square bills still.
I can.
Do you know that?
I can. I'm not,
Dad cut off a square bill and gave it to Dad. Like
because I thought he was going to win the tournament on it.
so he gave it to me.
Oh.
He's like, "Hey, Dion said this is the one." I'm like, "This is a beat up old Lucky Craft."
And we saw what that got you.
I didn't throw it because you know why? I didn't want to lose it
Well,
because it had the right rash on it.
if I gave it to you, I meant for you to throw it.
It had the right rash on it.
Yeah. Well, give it back.
No.
If it's all tooth marked up, give it back.
Do you remember earlier in the episode when I said you were one of the guys that rarely gives stuff away? Yep. Possession's 9/10 of the law. That's my lure now, bitch. Mine. It's mine.
I've let you have my whole crap sitting in your garage back there to go through.
I never went through it.
That's your fault.
No.
It's your fault.
Because I know what's in there. There's no fancy stuff.
No, there's not.
The guy makes his own baits. I don't want any hand-painted, eyed-looking jig. Got a good hook on it, but I mean, the one thing that I have learned about you is that you're not extravagant with your presentation. It's a black and blue jig. It's a beaver tail body.
How
It's
can
a
you say?
you paint eyes on the lure. You make sure you put some
How
rattles in
can
it.
you
Maybe.
say I'm not extravagant with my?
No, I mean what I mean by that is you don't go to the back of the box and open it up and here's 500 kgb glide baits.
No.
And they're all in, there are guys like that. You know that.
Yeah, I know.
And then here's my box of my Norman DD22s, and they're in the ultraviolet light spectrum from white to chartreuse, and like the faded. And then
No.
I've got my jigs. He's got a bag of the stuff that's going to work that day,
Absolutely.
and that's all you need.
Doesn't everybody? I carry it in my
So,
pocket most of the time.
That's what I mean by not extravagant.
That's right. I'm
You know,
not.
And there are those that are very. I mean, a lot of fishermen are anal. They've got their 3700s that are labeled with all their stuff in it. My dad's, myself, I do that too.
Brian Thrift has the most beautiful fishing tackle I've ever seen in my life. He's got jigs in individual compartments.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy to look at.
And there's
I'm
a lot
like-
of guys like that.
I
It's
look at it
fine.
and I'm like, why?
Whatever gives you confidence.
That's right.
There you go. All right, we have an inductee into the new Legends and Liars Club for the night, and then we're going to go for the night because we're running late. Oh. There are loos behind you for Dion from Tony Hughes. Did you hear that?
What?
There are loos behind you for Dion from Tony Hughes. You know Tony?
Yeah.
Says there's some loos behind you.
Huh.
So I don't know. You have to holler
Yeah.
him later. Huh. Oh, that was my what? Lures. There are lures behind you for Dion from Tony Hughes.
There you go.
Ah, look here. There you go. Tony Bishop, not Tony,
Tony
Hughes.
Bishop,
Tony
yeah.
Bishop. Look at there, some foil little baits.
Sweet.
How about that? Didn't even know they were behind me.
Nice.
Do you know what that means? You didn't know they were there. They're not. They're for me now. Got some little hand-tied, handmade little foil wrap,
He makes some pretty
sexy
stuff.
shad, circuit bill,
Yeah, he makes some pretty stuff.
balsa. Nice. You get all the cool stuff.
Yeah.
Tonight, we're going to induct into the Legends and Liars Club. We have a cover page of Basser Magazine. This was the Japanese bass fishing magazine published in September 1994. Let's see if I can get that pulled up there so you guys can see it. A couple of young guys there. I said, who was the guy with the coon eyes? When I say coon eyes, raccoons have like white masks. And you've got they took this picture of you.
When we went to Japan, we were really big deals.
Let's-
Literally really big deals. They're all this tall.
Yeah, I got you.
A sea of black hair as far as you could see.
Gotcha. So yeah, that was Bastard magazine. This came out of your mom's estate, right?
Yeah.
September 9th, 1994. BA no, it said I don't know. Maybe
They would make us one.
There you go.
They would send us
This
one
was
issue.
pre-Photoshop, so let's don't go there. BSS Bassmaster Superstars Tournament Pros feature Guido and Dion Hibden. How to select a bass fishing lure and something tournament report. But see, that's again, that's what I was saying before. People pick up these magazines because they wanted to learn something and they wanted to see something, and they didn't realize that they were lying the whole time when they put it in the magazine.
We went to Japan for 17 days, I think it was the one time, and fished 3 different bass tournaments, and we never got invited back. I don't know why. I do really, because
you were with Gary
I finished
Klein
second, 2, and 3rd in the other one, so yeah, they didn't want us back.
Do you want me to tell you how good my memory is? The last time we talked about Japanese fishing, you said you got drunk with Gary Klein on sake.
No, Davey Height.
Davey Height. But I remember the drunk story. I got close.
It was bad.
All right, not Gary Klein. Davey Height.
It was bad. Davey Height.
Yeah, there you go. So if you guys want to know after the show, come up and talk to Dion about getting drunk on sake in Japan with Davey Height.
We had a whole array of interpreters. And when I say that, an interpreter, when you're in Japan, is a college girl from the United States. That Japanese college girl.
I think we've had these conversations
they
because
go over there and they're interpreters. Well, they go back over there to interpret, make money. That's their extra spending money. So yeah, one night everybody and there must be no drinking laws at all in Japan because those people start drinking at breakfast. I mean, sake is served to you with your eggs if you want it. And of course, me and Davey, not so smart in that department. And sake is like our moonshine, basically. It's 100% alcohol is all it is. And all I can remember about the whole deal is we were in an elevator going up to our room with all these interpreters, and I had to teach them the Tigger song.
Oh, no.
Because one of them was sitting there humming the Tigger song, and I'm like, are you actually humming Winnie the Pooh? And she's like, yeah, we watch that. They watch cartoons to learn how to speak better English because cartoons are captioned at the bottom so they can listen to the words and they can read below.
Which Tigger song was it?
Tigger's a wonderful thing. Tails are made out of rubber.
You didn't sing it?
Oh, yeah, I was singing my ass off that night.
Oh,
it was
because you were drunk. Because I was trying to get you to do it now, but yeah.
No, it was bad. It was bad.
The wonderful thing about Tiggers.
That's right.
Because I'm the only one.
That's
that
right.
one, right?
Yeah. That was one of them nights I was so proud I woke up in my own room.
Oh, potato, honey. That one?
Yeah.
Yeah, got it.
Yes.
They also thought you were a sumo world champion.
That's right.
But that's a whole nother story.
Well,
next week, I will share the story, and just because keep everybody on the edge, about the time you and I went to ICAST in Vegas, and I had my first encounter with a prostitute.
It was funnier than hell.
So let's save that one for next week because I had,
all right.
in my naive days.
That was a good one.
It was a good one. Yeah.
Yep.
That was a good one. So yeah. So we'll go down that road. We'll just table that.
We'll have to find the proper word for that one too.
No, I can G-rate it.
There was profanity used in that one.
That's right, but I can tone it down. It's all good.
Her being a lady of the night, she did not use very nice language.
She did not towards me, but that's okay. Anyway,
I agree.
Special thanks to June and Lloyd at Hiawatha Beach. Lloyd's been here every night, every week. He's not here tonight. Okay, sorry. So good that he's our sponsor. It's awesome. He's not sick. Thanks for everything you do. They're great. They're up at Hiawatha Beach Resort. Fall fishing's still in swing. It's not cold enough yet. Don't winterize your boat yet. Go up there. He's still open. You'll find him on the end working on a dock and welding.
That's right.
He's the old dried up grape out there on the end. Because he's out in the sun so much, he looks like tan leather now.
Works nonstop.
He's part Indian.
Yeah.
That's part of it too. But don't say how. Because he'll say how what.
That's right.
So Don't say how. Like how. Don't. He's not that much of an Indian. Or not like.
No.
But he doesn't have Slurpees either, so he's not that kind of Indian.
No.
So, see, I knew that would get her fired up.
Yeah.
Got no shameless plug. I want to thank everybody here at Brian's Osage Outdoors for giving us the Liars and Legends Lounge. We're gonna induct this nice frame print in. I said I was gonna put something in this week, but you brought one, so I'll do next week. I got stuff at home.
Come and eat pizza and drink a beer with us next week.
Don't even need a pizza, just drink a beer.
That's right.
So here's what I have some first edition fishing reels I think I'm gonna bring next week. And we'll talk about those because you know which reels I'm talking about.
Yeah. Yes.
All right, that's it.
Right.
Thanks everybody for watching, and we'll see you next week on Real Unfiltered Talk. And make sure you wear your life jackets and your kill switches, and be safe, fish smart, make good decisions, and when all else fails, go black and blue. Right?
That's right.
All right, guys, take care, and we'll see you next week. Appreciate it.